Hey, what's up, Warriors? How's it going? I'm gonna do my second video live today. Some news just came out, some leaked news from President Biden around taxation. Just leaked though, not confirmed, still has to go through Congress. So I'll wait till some people come on. So my second video today is gonna be live. There's so much media and news coming out right now. How you guys doing, Warriors? Warriors, what's up? So my second YouTube video, which is right now, is going to be live. Just do it every once in a while. I'll do some breaking news like this. It's all around taxes. So a lot of you are probably wondering why the crypto space is declining right now, and the stock market. So we're taking a pretty big hit in the stock market and the crypto market. I saw my text messages going off, all my messages going off, and so all I got to do is look at the news, and sure enough, Biden's freaking everybody out the last couple days, and I will break down why I think this is happening. So I'll wait for a few more Warriors to go on. I hope you guys are having a great afternoon. It's around 4 o'clock here in Arizona. And remember, we work to teach people to free your dome. I'm here. My son's in the other room watching TV. I have complete freedom. I can work from wherever I want, whenever I want, however I want. And that's what we work to do in our Warrior Academy, treat you freedom to free that dome, Warrior. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off. So doing this video live, so some of you will see this in the future. So I won't be answering questions because I want to be navigating through my computer here. So I want to share with you guys what happened yesterday, which is interesting. We talked about this in one of our videos, but Biden administration crypto regulatory framework reportedly in the works. So that was yesterday. Okay, now what is today, the 22nd? That was on the 20th, excuse me. So we're on the 22nd. So on the 20th, they talked about Biden administration crypto regulatory framework. We had Brian Brooks become head of Coinbase. And then all of a sudden today is what I want to come on live and just talk quickly to you guys about, is what Biden, this is leaked too, okay? So this is not confirmed, how Biden's proposed tax hikes for the wealthy could fund childcare and community college. Warriors, we're heading towards a UBI system. I've been telling you that. All these stimulus checks that are coming out, you're going to have more stimulus checks coming out. And what they're going to be doing, and this is what's freaking out the marketplace right now, is that they put out a leaked information that Biden's tax proposal is going to be taxing the wealthy, the uncommon 1%, right? Now, I'm going to walk through my narrative on this, and I'm going to share with you guys what I think is going to happen. Because I'm going to show you our GDP, our gross domestic product, and then I'm going to show you China's GDP. I've been telling you guys this for a while. Now, remember, the US dollar, the only reason it has value is because we say it has value. That's it, because it's a reserve currency. That is the only reason it has value. It has barely any value at all, any monetary value. It's just because it's a world reserve currency and we say it is. It's not backed by anything. So remember, you have a dollar that's completely deflated, almost 100% deflated, right? You have confidence in the dollar just because we say we have confidence. And so what they're going to do is keep printing stimulus checks. What they're doing, Warriors, even this tax hike, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. What they're doing is they're trying to win the hearts of the middle class and poor at the same time as they knock you out. It's weird. They're sweetening you up and then boom, they're going to knock you out. And I'm going to explain that in just a moment. Let me walk through the tax hike and then I'll explain my mindset on it. So they're talking about the crypto laws, right? So Biden was talking about we'll go back to this really quickly. So Biden was talking about administration crypto regulatory framework reportedly in the works, okay? Then today this was leaked. Now this is not official. This is just rumors and leaked out. So President Joe Biden is expected to announce a sweeping American families proposal next week to invest in government-funded childcare, hear me out, universal pre-kindergarten education, and paid leave for workers, and make the wealthiest Americans pick up the tab. So basically, now I'm not mad about this. I'm not upset about this. I just want to walk you through what's happening. This is buttering up the middle class and the working poor. Jerome Powell said, we are worried about the middle class. We are worried about the retail workers, okay? So what they're doing is they're buttering up the middle class and just over broke the poor, right? So people that are struggling, right? I was there a year and a half ago, Warriors. I lost all my money after I left. So I understand both sides of it. And I'm going to share my narrative at the end of where I think you should head to, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to tax us, who are going to make over $1 million this year, right? And so we are going to be taxed around 37% capital gains tax. So what's happening with the marketplace right now is because this big shock of a rumor came that big hedge funds, family funds, right, that affects their funds dramatically. So it shakes up the market and people start selling off, right? Now, this is just a rumor. This isn't official. This has to go through Congress and be passed, right? And there's some wealthy people in Congress, but let's break this down. How the richest Americans would pay for it. So basically what the rumor is that the richest Americans are going to be paying for subsidized childcare. All these, basically it's UBI, right? You're getting your stimulus checks. Childcare will be paid for. There's another rumor out there that Biden's going to be giving $25,000 to buy houses. This all sounds fantastic, doesn't it? Warriors, they're setting you up for an economic collapse, and I'm going to explain that in just a moment. So the top marginal tax, Biden will propose raising the top marginal income tax rate to 39.6 from 37 for tax year 2021. The top tax rate, 37 for the richest Americans, individuals, with taxpayer incomes greater than $523,000, and married couples filing jointly over $628,000. So capital gains, Biden would nearly double taxes on capital gains or income earned from the asset stocks to 39.6 for people earning more than 1 million. On the campaign trail, Biden proposed taxing capital gains and dividends as ordinary income for taxpayers earning over 1 million. So let's walk through this. So the tax hike is going to be, move up for people making a certain amount of income. So if you make $523,000 or more per year, you're going to move from 37% up to 39%. That's on your regular income. If you're investing in crypto or investments, capital gains, when you sell those, you're going to go from a 20% tax rate on your capital gains to 39.6. This is just proposed, has to go through Congress, to 39.6. If you're in California, you're going to be probably paying close to over 50% on your capital gains taxes. So if you took out $1 million out of your crypto and you made $1 million in capital gains, you would have to pay half to the government. So I want you to ask yourself a question before I go into my narrative and where I think this is taking us and what this signals in the future. Would you rather be in a position where you have to pay 50% of $1 million or be living off your government? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Would you rather make a decision to start thinking like the wealthiest people in the world and have these hefty tax bills and still live an epic life? Or are you just going to sit back and miss the biggest shift in generational wealth and rely on your government? So that's what's happening in the stock market right now today. That's what's happening in the crypto market. Whereas this is going to shake people out. You got to have diamond hands, So they have the crypto regulation that shake people up. Now you got this tax laws coming out for the wealthy. Remember, people are emotional. They're all emotional creatures. They react off emotion. They hear news, they react, So let's take a look at this really quickly. So what happens when there's tax increases, there's a direct correlation to reduce in gross domestic product. So what he's basically saying is that we're going to tax the shit out of the rich and we're going to give it to the poor, the working middle class, right? But also what that does is it actually hurts GDP, because when you're taxing the crap out of the rich, right, they're pumping money into the stock markets, which helps grow the companies who grow GDP, right? And so taxes have a very large effect on endogenous tax increase of 1% of GDP growth, and I'm gonna explain what GDP is in just a moment, lowers the real GDP by roughly 2 to 3%. So now what is GDP? I'm here to educate you guys so you know the game, right? So GDP is gross domestic product. It's all the goods, products, and services within America. If we were to sell all of them, would we be able to pay off our debt? In America, we have a negative debt to income ratio. It's negative. So we actually owe more. You can come in, babe. My son's gonna come in. So you actually owe more. John, you can come in. You can actually we owe more than we actually have in GDP. Does that make sense? So that's very important to know. So we have negative GDP. We're in a low interest rate environment and we're printing money into infinity. Now he's going to be taxing the rich, trying to act like Robin Hood, and giving it to the poor. But that's basically UBI, warriors. UBI. They're trapping you into a government-run society, so you are going to live off your government. Okay, now let's take a look at this really quickly. So if you look at our GDP, I think, okay, so if you look at the real gross domestic product increase at an annual rate of 4.3% in the fourth quarter of 2020. Now you're gonna see Q1 back here, I think this, okay, here's 2020, right? So we had negative GDP growth in the first quarter. Well, what happened in March of 2020? The C word, right? The pandemic hit. So we had the pandemic, we had the C word, everybody freaked out, and we had negative GDP growth. They started shutting everything down. Then look at Q2. We had a huge downswing in GDP growth. So now we're heading into what, March, April, May, June. And then everybody's like, yay, we had a huge spike in GDP. No, we had no growth in GDP. Basically what they did is they pumped this economy with stimulus checks and everybody went on and bought. I mean, it's a false pump of the economy, right? And so we rounded out quarter four with a little bump in GDP, ending at 4.3%, the overall. So this big jump right here in Q3 skewed the numbers. So we really had no GDP growth in 2020, and I'm sure we're going to be in much worse shape in 2021. Now, let me show you something really quickly. I believe they're driving us to China being the new superpower. So the CBDC, central bank digital currency, China is already ready to launch their CBDC. They've already tested it very successfully and the public loved it, okay? They already want to launch it by winter time in the Winter Olympics, but I think they're gonna launch it in 2022. Their GDP grew by 18.3% in the first quarter. Go back and look at their GDP last year. China is becoming the superpower. So let me go back just a moment really quickly, Warriors, and let's talk about this right here. So what do you think this is gonna do to the wealthiest people in the world? This is going to drive people out of our country. This is going to drive people out of our country. America is the land of the free, right? The home of the brave, where you can come to America to build your future, not to get taxed like crazy. So now what this is saying to the people who have weak minds, it's telling them it's not even worth, some of them will say, it's not even worth making $523,000 a year, or excuse me, so you make $1 million, right? You may as well stop right under $1 million, because if you make over $1 million, you're gonna have to pay 39.6% of that back. Here's my theory. Get so goddamn rich, excuse my language, I don't excuse my language, I have to say what I mean. Get so rich that you don't even have to worry about it worse. Get so wealthy that you don't even have to worry about it. You know, you don't have to sit there and rely off your government, Warriors. This is about understanding the game. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's all about crypto. It isn't about crypto. It's about freedom, Warriors. And it's about understanding where we're heading. So these tax laws, Warriors, these tax laws are going to be pretty hefty if they pass. They still have to pass through Congress, Warriors. But understand there's a bigger picture, a bigger game happening in the background, Warriors. And if you know the game, you can't be played. So the key is listening to this, but not getting shooken out by the market, right? So I wanted to come on live instead of doing a video that I record and post up and just share with you guys, bring this information to you guys around these tax things. Now remember, that is just rumors. And we already knew that last year when Biden was running for the presidency. He kept talking about taxing the rich and giving it to the poor. But, and I hope that doesn't offend people when I say working middle class, guys. I was broke a year and a half ago. Completely lost everything, back down to zero. Had to move in with my parents. I've lost my money 3 times in my lifetime. On the third time, the first time, I was a drug addict. I fucked up my life. That was my fault. The second time, I left corporate America 3 years ago, August 2017, to start the Warrior Academy. I had some huge bumps in the road. I spent my whole 401k, I had a lot of money, spent my whole 401k, every bit of my savings to build the company, finally built it up, ended up going through a divorce, and then the C word hits. Or then, you know, we're going through that and then boom, they shut our business down. So gosh, less than a year and a half ago. So around March, when they shut our business down, going into April, everything started to collapse again. But this never collapsed, Warriors. Now here we are, what are we in, April 2021? My life is completely different. Because what I did, Warriors, is I switched this. I stopped listening to the narrative. I stopped focusing on left, I stopped focusing on right, and I started to become the narrative. I changed my subconscious mind from lack to abundance, from poor to rich, from light, from negativity to light. And every single day, I'm so happy and grateful for the money that comes to me, increasing quantities to multiple sources on a continuous basis. I started to program my subconscious mind to wealth on a daily basis, over and over again. This very bed that I sleep in right here, every single night, I have subconscious mind programming playing throughout my whole house that programs my subconscious mind to wealth. And in less than a year and a half, Warriors, I went from losing all my money once again to building a massive crypto, in my opinion, a massive crypto portfolio. There'll be over 7 figures if the market goes the way it's supposed to go. We built a company that is going to hit over $1 million this year. And it's because I never gave up, Warriors. It's because I didn't listen to the narrative. It's because when people were talking shit, I was working. When people were sleeping, I was working. And when people were talking shit, I was caring more about people than they cared about themselves. And when I had no money, I gave as much as I could, what I could, when I can, and I realized that I had everything I need. And I'll tell you what, Warriors, the law of attraction works. I put God first, I follow the life of Jesus, and I focus on what's right every single day. And I don't give a shit what people think. So I want you to understand the game so you can stop following the narrative and create your own. I'm not asking you to believe a word I say, Warriors. What I'm asking you to do is to learn how to think for yourself, to free your dome. Remember, Jesus was crucified on the skull of the cross. He was the mountain's the translation is the skull of the cross. That's where Jesus was crucified. Okay. The vertebrae has 33 vertebrae. The Jordan River goes up to the skull of the cross where Jesus was crucified. The vertebrae, 33 vertebrae, goes up into the skull. Jordan River, 33rd longitude, up into the skull, bringing yourself up into Christ consciousness. When Jesus died, he died as Jesus Christ. He came back as Christ Jesus, and only few people could see him. Who were the people that could see him? The people who were awakened to Christ consciousness, to God, to light, to love, not to religion. They weren't looking at left. They weren't looking at right. They were looking up at their higher self, to God. So hopefully this makes sense to you, Warriors. Hopefully this makes sense to you. But if it doesn't, I'm just here to help as many people as humanly possible. From my heart to yours, I love you and your family. But I'll tell you what, Warriors, I'm never going to filter what I say. I'm going to say what I mean. I'm going to try not to say it mean. But one thing I'll tell you, Warriors, I'm always going to practice what I preach. I live as close as I can to the life of Jesus. I'm not a perfect man, but I live as close as I can to that life. That's the only person I idolize. So I'm going to continue to bring the information. I love cryptocurrency. I love mindset. If I had to put them in order, it would be mindset, cryptocurrency, and fitness. It's everything we do in our Warrior Academy. There's nothing like it. So I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Let me see if there's any questions here. I can't do too many questions. I have my son Freedom, man. I got my son here. I'm able to pick up my son whenever I want. Let's see, shoulders are looking significant change. Oh, I'm getting leaner, huh, guys? I'm excited. I've been working hard, man. So just wait. I'm on my warrior journey right now. So just so you guys know, my warrior journey, no masturbation, no pornography, 1 meal a day, OMAD. Eating mostly vegan, kind of pseudo-vegan, ice fast 3 times a week, a breathing coach, meditation. What else am I doing? Hypertrophy training 3 days a week, high intensity training 3 days a week, and lots of studying of the life of Jesus. And thank you. I said on the last live, I was like, hey guys, send me any information about the life of Jesus. I want to hear everything. I want to hear negatives, positive. I'm trying to study. I'm studying the book of Enoch, book of Thomas, the Bible. We have people who are LDS in our academy who I'm learning from, different stories of Joseph Smith. Buddhism, my CFO is Buddhist. Kev talks about it. He was a former Jehovah Witness. So I'm learning from all different people because I believe we all learn in different ways. But I believe that's how Jesus was. I believe Jesus was somebody who learned from everybody, right? He was gone for 18 years. He was studying and learning. So I know that has nothing to do with crypto or taxes, but what I want to say at the end of this and what I want to explain to you guys is you have 2 choices. You can bitch and complain about the tax laws, or you can become so rich it doesn't even matter. Because this isn't Biden's money. It's not Trump's money. It's not my money. It's not your money. It's God's money. And so no matter what they do, you deserve freedom. No matter what they tax, you deserve riches. So let's not complain about it. Let's be about it. Instead of complaining about the nefarious elites, become the elite so you can change the narrative. That's the best way to do it. As they always say, be the change you want to see, right? So instead of complaining about it and being armchair quarterbacks, let's become so rich that we can actually change the narrative. Let's become the Elon Musk. Let's become the next Bill Gates. Let's become the richest people. And if we don't like what they're doing, then let's change it. Let's create our own ecosystem. Let's create peace and prosperity. Let's bring love, light, and positivity. Let's not have a middle class and a poor and a rich. Let's empower everybody to be powerful beyond measure. And I'll leave you with this, as Jim Rohn says. We could get every single person in society $1 million. And do you realize that that $1 million would end up all in the same people's hands, the rich? Because the poor received the million, but they never changed this, because it has nothing to do with this, Warriors. It has to do with free in your dome. I love you guys very, very much. Have a great day, Warriors. If you're just joining, please watch this video over. I talk about Biden's leaked tax proposal. It's leaked, not confirmed, leaked. We talked about Biden's crypto legislation. Brian Brooks, head of the OCC, became head of CEO of Binance. It's coming fast, furious. So we have diamond hands, Warriors, when the crypto space is pulling back. And those of you new to crypto or in crypto, blood in the streets, time to buy. So you buy people's fear, you sell the euphoria. Warriors, rise. We'll see you tomorrow on YouTube. Oh, check out my Instagram, Coach JB_. Bye, Felicia.